Hello everyone, very happy new year to all of you. So let's begin with the assignment of day 7, that is about SDLC, that is about SDLC models. Those SDLC models, those are basically in practical use like waterfall model, um, V model and agile methodology. So let's move on to the first question, that is waterfall model. Here the example that I have cited, it consists of 6 phases in waterfall model. In different examples you may have seen that it consists of different number of pages, but basically all the pages have mixed, but basically the meaning is all same. So let's begin. The first one is feasibility study. Before the feasibility study, what happens now? All the requirements in detail are collected from the client. The BA, the business analyst or the product owner, usually does this, and then they do a meeting, collaborating with the developers also, that whether it will be economically, that is whether cost wise, that is it is cost wise, schedule wise and resources wise feasible or not, and that is the feasibility study. And after it is approved that yes, they can achieve the goal within the stipulated time, resource and cost, then they get the project and build, then they start with the project. So after the feasibility study, the next is requirement analysis and specifications. In that, they do a brainstorming of the requirements and the requirement that are gathered from the client, that which this is to prioritize which requirements they need to go with, which is necessary and which is unnecessary. All these things they decide in this phase, and then comes then after the requirement analysis phase, and they after the analysis phase starts the design phase, in which designing of the software, that the software will be consisting of which programming language like Java, C, C++, PHP, etc. This will be decided, and what will be the database like MySQL, Postgre, Oracle, etc. This is decided in this phase, that the software is going to use which programming language, which database, etc. These things are decided in the designing phase. Then after a high level design, is being built, then comes coding and unit testing. In the what happened in this phase is, now after the high level design, it's the software is converted into we write the software's codes. That is the actual coding of the software begins by the development team, and after the coding of that, the coding is done module wise, and after each module coding is finished, they do unit testing. The unit testing is performed by the developer, and after the after when the coding is finished, that is the software coding part is finished, then coding part is finished module wise, then comes the integration and system testing. In that the modules are integrated in a systematic way, and it is then tested, and after it's been tested okay, with respect to the requirements, it is launched, it is deployed in the customer site, or it is launched, and then comes the maintenance phase, that the software company needs to maintain the software for the client as per the changing requirements, and in order to achieve better user experience. For that, the client then the software company maintains the software for the client. That this is maintenance. Then this is all about the waterfall model, the phases of the waterfall model. So the advantage of this model is it is very simple and easy to understand, but once the requirements are the drawback is that the requirements are freeze here, means from the very beginning only the client should give all the requirements. Only minor requirement changes it can fix, but it cannot fix major requirement changes. So this is the major drawback of this model. And as the name, from the name it suggests waterfall model. It's called as waterfall because in waterfall, whatever you can't go upward, the water that has fallen, it comes in a downward fashion and you can go upward. Similarly, here you can go only in a single downwards phase, single downward phase. That is, you can't move from the you can't move upward, you can move only downward. So after completion of one phase only the next phase begins, and so we can't move backward. That is the major drawback of waterfall model. So it's used for only small projects where all the major requirements are fixed. Okay, so that is all about. And here, as after completion of one phase only the next phase begins. So what happens now, all the documents, the proper documentation should be there, so that no data is lost. Okay, so that is the major drawback of waterfall model. So what's happened now, to do it in a practice way. So to do it in practically, we use an incremental waterfall model. Okay, so classical waterfall models is not used in practical scenarios. So our next question is about V model. So V model, as the name suggests, V model stands for verification and validation. As you can see, V in the left hand side, it is called as verification, as it involves the static concept that where we can see it's dynamic. It's a dynamic, hence it's called verification. We can see the code of the software, that is the left hand side, and in the right hand side is validation, that is testing part. So here the development and the testing activities occur parallelly, and as the shape is V, so it is called as V model. So in the first phase, that is requirement analysis or gathering from the client. Along with that, the test plan, then the test plan, then the test cases documentation. All these activities of testing begin. Then coming to the next one, that is high level design of the software. In that, after that also, in that integration testing, such a test plan, test cases are written for the software. So then in the next phase, that is the low level design, the modular level design. Then in that unit testing is done for each module, and after the coding, then in the next phase, after the coding is done, then it's tested with respect to the test cases, and if it is passed, that it has covered no major or critical bug is there, then it's deployed into the production. That is the V model. The V model advantage of V model is that as the development and testing phase occurs parallelly, so it saves a lot of time, and it's V model, it can be used in practical scenario, and it also involves a lot of documentation, but lesser than waterfall model. And so this is the this which is the diagram that I put on is the depicts the V model flow. So let's move on to the next one, that is agile. So agile is let me give a brief introduction of agile. So agile is not a methodology, it's a philosophy. Okay, in 2001, 17 development practitioner gathered and suggested a manifesto. They suggested a philosophy called as Agile Manifesto. In that, 12 principles and 4 values were there. If if a software company follows these principles or values, then it is said to be, then then it is said that that companies follows agile principle. Okay, so this is a philosophy only consisting of 12 principles and 4 values. So in the I have put on a few of the principles. And these are these are the values of the agile, that in agile basically focuses on the individual and interactions rather than on the process or the tool like we did in waterfall. The strict process must be followed. And agile focuses on the working software rather than the contract between the customer and the client. And priority is given to the customer collaboration, that the customer needs to be satisfied according to the customer requirement changing. We do change the working software, and that is the customer collaboration. Customer happiness is given priority over the contract, the negotiation contract. That is the basic motto of agile. And responding to, and the next one is responding to change over a plan, that the customer requirement is or customer is given priority over the process or the methodology. That is agile. That is all about agile. So agile has different frameworks are there for agile, like Scrum, Kanban, XP, etc. Out of them, Scrum is most widely used. About 90% of the software team practicing agile use Scrum as the framework. So this is the diagram depicts the Scrum. That is, we have a product backlog, that is the requirements of the requirement of the software. From that, few of the requirements that we choose for a potentially shippable product, that are chosen for a particular sprint. Sprint usually consists of 1 to 4 weeks. Those requirement that we can deliver to the client within 1 to 4 weeks, that we choose for a particular sprint, and that those requirements are added in the sprint backlog. Then we do a sprint planning for the particular sprint, that how those requirements will be built upon, and who will do this, and what kind of testing this testing will be done, and this all are planned in sprint planning. And for the Scrum, we have a Scrum team that usually consists of on average 6 people. Then for the Scrum, we do a daily Scrum meeting or a stand-up meeting. In that, what we are doing good and what's need to be done to improve the software, that is decided in that meeting. Then after a potentially shippable product or an increment is delivered, then after the 2 weeks, then we do a 2 weeks, let's say the sprint duration is, then we do a sprint retrospective meeting. In that, what went well in the sprint, and what we can do to improve the next sprint, and whatever the backlog that we haven't completed in this sprint, those are assigned to the next sprint, and along with the other requirements from the sprint product backlog, those are then assigned to the next sprint. So this was all about agile, and a brief introduction of agile. So agile, nowadays all software teams almost use agile, as because no software is fixed, and the customer requirements changes a lot in no time. So we need to use Agile as a Agile philosophy in our software team. That is all about the day 7 assignment. Thank you for listening. Thanks. Bye bye.